back to Weekend Rants.
Hey guys, we're getting into spoilers right now. We're going to talk about a lot of things that are on people's minds when it comes to Batman v Superman, especially when it comes to their. People have heard that we have a little bit of cameos coming from the Flash Cyborg and Jason Mimosas. Aquaman. So we're here to talk about that a little bit. It just happens very briefly. What do you think about that? I know
I
you
didn't like
have
it.
a super gripe about the amount of time shared screen time that they had.
I felt like there was so back to bloated. I
Okay.
already felt like there was too much in this movie, and it
Hmm.
felt too hard.
Um,
Like they were like, "All right, we really got to catch up to Marvel." Like I get it, that's what they're doing, but they made it like so obvious. So we get the introduction of all these characters, and it's like an email. And even though I do like, I would prefer that than them all of them popping up at the end. That's what I
that's
was
actually
worried.
what I was afraid of too.
That's exactly. I was
I was
worried.
really afraid of that, like happening at the very end, where they're fighting Doomsday, and we get
Like all of
the
a sudden
battle
they
between we get Batman, we get Superman there, we get Wonder Woman there, and then we get Flash zooming in, doing
right.
some nonsense, and then Cyborg jet packing down, and and Aquaman jumping out of the ocean on a shark or something. Like a lot of
Wait,
crazy
that could have
shit
been
was on my mind when I thought that these characters were going to show up in this movie,
right.
and I'm glad that they didn't.
I agree.
You're saying that it's felt bloated that they showed up in the movie at all, right? I feel like the
Essentially,
introduction of them in the email scene,
I
where
know.
it was just Wonder Woman clicking on these files and seeing little snippets of them being caught doing their metahuman activities. Aquaman showing up in the ocean on an underwater um, sonar type thing in the camera, and then we have the Flash saving a convenience store owner, and then we have Cyborg and his
Creation,
creation,
essentially.
basically.
Yeah. So
And I
I
thought that
agree
was
with you.
fine. I was like,
Mhm.
those are so short and so minute and without context, really, that it doesn't affect the plot, which was already bloated. I agree with the plot was already bloated, had too many things going on in it already that we didn't need to add these characters in there any meaningful way. We just needed to see them, and I was okay with that.
Right. I agree in theory.
Okay,
Okay, and like in theory,
tell
but
me more.
okay.
Tell me more,
So the
Andrew.
I mentioned this earlier to you. I liked how they introduced Batman's existence, Lex Luthor's existence in the first movie, Man of Steel. So we didn't have to have like video footage of like Batman or anything. These people should still get like an opening. Now their opening is like an email kind of thing. So that's what I thought it was a little weak.
You mean like you wanted them to have an introduction?
Right, like a more proper one. Like maybe they will get it when they get in their solo movies.
Yeah,
So maybe that'll kind of quell my like,
distaste for what they did,
right,
how
yeah.
they were introduced.
It's a nitpick. It's not. It definitely didn't bring the movie down,
No.
or anything like. And I do agree with you. I would way more prefer a quick little snippet of their existence, and that's it. Not them popping up.
And joining in the battle in the final
Exactly.
scene.
Exactly.
Let's talk about that final scene for a little bit too.
Sure.
I had my main qualms about the Man of Steel is, and everybody's main qualms actually, is that Superman is a savior that kills a lot of people.
Right.
You
Oh
noticed
yeah,
that?
'cause yeah.
Yeah, because he's ripping through buildings, and
But
just
here's
by
the
the
thing.
sheer fact that he's there. Yeah, it's not his fault,
Yeah,
quote unquote.
I don't
I
feel
understand
that.
that, but
Well,
he
but
could have taken the battle somewhere else.
okay, well here's my problem with that argument because you are right that a lot of people agree with you on that, and
Batman thinks I'm right.
Batman does. I can't argue against that. But first of all, number one, I watched that scene after a lot of people complained about it. 90%, 90 of the Metropolis damage was from like that world engine, that ship. It was not from Superman. So I thought I was like, well, it wasn't really him. Number two, most
So
of the
many buildings they crashed into.
well, yeah, but that was him being punched and like thrown across.
No, there was instances where he fought Zod and then pushed him directly into those buildings. It's like he's aiming for them.
Yeah, yes and no. But again, but here's my problem.
Yes and yes.
Here's my problem with that argument. First of all, dude, in the comics, he constantly fights and like breaks through buildings and stuff. Number two,
He's also saving people in the comics as well.
true, that's true.
Yeah.
But number two, so here's my thing to people who complain about that.
Okay.
Is every single movie now he's supposed to grab the villain and drag him to the Sahara Desert or something? Like, it's Metropolis. He has to fight there. I mean, like, that can't be
Batman did it.
He did?
He brought. See,
Batman
here's
fought in the Sahara Desert?
that's why I brought it up. Is because I really liked in that scene, and they really
Which scene
cleared.
are you talking about?
I'm telling you. Don't
I'm
worry, baby girl. I
impatient.
got you. So in the scene, they really cleared it up with one sentence, where Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, they're talking to Batman, and Batman decides to
Yeah,
bring Doomsday back to Gotham.
Gotham.
And at
To
that
destroy
scene,
his city.
Gal Gadot says, "You brought him back to the city," and he goes, "This port is abandoned." You didn't catch that, did you?
No,
The
maybe
port
not.
was abandoned. That's all I needed to hear.
Right, but he had
And
the
that
luxury
way-
of doing that.
Right, but still, he could. Are you kidding me? He started in the movie Man of Steel. They started off fighting in the farm. Remember that, right?
Mhm.
They gradually moved into the city.
No, because remember
With people.
the engines. There's people in there, right?
Yeah.
But those like giant the terraforming machines were already positioned.
By the
in
way,
cities.
that plot point was really stupid as well. Why would you terraform the planet that you want to rule to your planet where you have no powers? How does that make sense?
Well, wouldn't they still keep their power? Because don't they
No.
get their powers from the sun?
But
Maybe I
whenever Superman was on the Zod spaceship, and
Yeah,
the
but
gravity was the only thing keeping him, because the sun was still there. They're still on the planet.
Yeah, but they didn't have enough time to act. Didn't they say something? It's been a while since.
Well, why are we talking about Man of Steel? Forget it. You know what? Don't worry about it. It's not a Man of Steel
No,
review.
okay, but my point. Look, let's just talk about Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, let's do it.
But no,
Jack Black's really good. I believe he is an actual panda in some scenes. In real life, I'm pretty sure he eats a lot of bamboo.
it shows. But
How do pandas get so fat? All these bamboo.
let's just talk about that. Let's look it up on Wikipedia. But with Batman versus Superman, I really just don't agree with the whole like collateral damage argument. Like again, yeah, it's convenient. Like, hey, let me just drag you to like an empty building. But no matter what, when they like punch each other, if they're super strength, they're gonna rip apart the building. Debris is gonna fall. It's gonna like spread all over the place. Like I don't know. I just when I see like comic book movies, I expect like complete and total carnage and wreckage. Like when Hulk and I know I'm talking about another movie, but when Hulk and Iron Man fought in the Hulk Buster, they ripped apart some
Yeah,
of the
but
city.
there was measures that he took to ensure that the casualties
So you
were
feel
very
like-
low. Superman was very careless in his actions in Man of Steel, and that's why people were upset. Like, yes, he stopped Zod from destroying the entire planet and terraforming it to Krypton's gravity or what have you, but we still got a Superman who didn't bother going through the buildings and looking to see if there was any
How could he?
like
He didn't
lowly,
have time. He was
right
fighting.
like no but like okay so
And
I guess
Zod
my main
was-
thing is that like he knows that there's gonna be destruction in his fight in the aftermath of his fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like he cared. Even in the movie Batman v Superman, like I still think if there was a scene where he was just like, I still think about all the lives that were lost or something like that. We didn't get that. It doesn't seem like it gives a shit. That's the main thing.
But it's 2 years later.
Yeah, but if I murdered thousands of people, or the
Superman
the indirect cause of deaths of 1000s, I mean, it's gonna take a while.
Right. Okay, fair enough. I can understand. But do you feel that since this movie kind of
I mean, I get what you're saying
expanded on
too.
that?
Yeah,
do you feel like it served a purpose? Let me
Yeah.
put it that way, because now people are saying your argument, like this guy like ripped apart a city,
right?
He's
And he still has fans.
He does.
Yeah.
He does exactly. And do you feel like it legitimizes Batman's quote unquote paranoia a little more? Because exactly what you said, like you said earlier, Batman agrees with you. Like this guy can rip us apart.
He was directly directly affected by the aftermath because his buildings were destroyed.
People
and
he knew.
People he knew.
Right.
One guy in particular, Chad, which didn't. I was like, who the fuck is Chad? Why does he care so much about Chad? And literally, I feel like
Are
I
you
wanted
talking
to hear
about the
about
guy
the
at the
relationship.
beginning?
Yeah, in the building where he calls
That
him.
scene was so stupid.
It was so dumb. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is like, oh, Bruce Wayne's like, you gotta evacuate the building. And you see the guy turn to the window and he sees it. The engine is like two blocks away. And he's like, oh, let's not evacuate. It was just so. I didn't care when he perished. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. But at least that whole sequence gave. A little bit more legitimacy because a lot of people keep complaining like, why was Bruce Wayne so hostile to Superman? It doesn't make sense. He saved the planet, but it gave it a more personal touch that he ripped apart Wayne Towers and killed all the people that Bruce Wayne knew. He even like saves one worker and he knows him by name. So again, I thought they did that pretty well, but I didn't mind it the way you did. So.
I actually didn't like that scene at all. It raised
Which
more
scene?
questions than answers.
Which scene?
And the scene where in the beginning where he calls Chad his lover or his, I have no idea who he is in the relation with Bruce Wayne. So I couldn't give a shit. I couldn't give two shits of whether or not
It might
he
have
died.
been better if that had been like Lucius Fox.
Yes.
Wouldn't
Oh
that
my God, you're right.
Wouldn't that have like made it a little bit more?
Because
impactful?
we can add that. And if it was Morgan Freeman.
Yes,
Because he did do a great Lucius Fox. I
did.
can't argue with that.
but I think it would have made
It was so weak, and he had his building and the people inside died, and it affected him that way, and he didn't really. I guess my main thing is it wasn't really a pre-established person that I cared about.
right. Yeah,
And so that was really weak to me. And the guy that lost his leg, who later on became a catalyst to Superman's distrust of
Right.
Superman,
hmm
that was also really weak as well.
Really, you think
Yeah,
so?
I thought that was really weak.
Really?
Like that, I
thought
didn't really.
it fit pretty well.
I don't know. I think the motivations for a lot of things in this movie were really weak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not the biggest selling point. But since we're on the top, let's not get too
Okay.
off the topic of collateral damage. Let's talk about
Yeah,
Batman.
we ranted on a lot about that.
We sure did. But
That's what you guys get for watching or listening to a podcast called We Can Rant. So
you brought it
it's
up
on you
yourself.
guys.
But what about Batman? So since we're talking about superheroes that are like ripping apart buildings, well, he didn't rip apart buildings, but he definitely threw cars around.
Yeah.
He committed murder. Let's talk about that because I know people are like he broke his one rule throughout this movie. How do you feel?
He
about
broke it several hundred times.
Yeah.
It seems as though.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we didn't
But he
really.
still captured Joker and put him in Arkham,
Yes.
as we saw in Suicide Squad.
Okay, so this is what people are going to be upset about, and I know people are going to be upset about this because we get these low-level henchmen that die by the hundreds. It seems like in this movie, by Batman's hands directly. He
Right.
shoots real bullets at them.
Yeah.
It's different from the comic book where he shoots rubber bullets and
Right.
he incapacitates them. In this one, he's older and more dangerous, and he's branding people. And I thought at first this is going to be the Sons of Batman, because that's how it is in Dark Knight Returns, where it's a vigilante group that take on the mantle of Batman as his like his groupie,
Right.
his groupie, and they kind of do these violent acts, and Batman quells that. Where in the movie, he's the one actually doing that.
Right.
So that's gonna be not what people want to see from their Batman. They want a Batman that rise above it all and to have this restraint. And this is
No, he has
this
none of
no
that.
restraints at all. There's people getting gunned down. There's even a scene where he is saving Superman's mother, and he's in the Batwing, and there are henchmen shooting up at him at the Batwing, and he shoots down real bullets towards them, and their vehicle explodes. There's no way they're walking away from that.
No, he even throws one car filled with people on top of another car filled with people. So
Oh yeah, he really does. I turned to my sister when we were watching this. We're all watching this as a group, and I turned to my sister and I was like, "They're all dead. That person's dead. Those guys are dead." Like over and over. Batman's killing people now, I guess.
Right.
Okay, so now that we've established that Batman is insane,
right.
and not in an insane way like Jesse Eisenberg, but in an insane way where he is racking up the casualties by his own hands. What did you think about that? Did you hate it? Would you rather him found an alternative way to incapacitate these criminals? Or were you just confused about it all? Because I was confused.
Yeah.
After I thought about it, the scenes were fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you don't think about the part where he's murdering people a bunch, the scenes are still fun to watch. The fight scenes are brutal.
Right. It
had a very Raid feel to it. It has very Arkham Asylum feel to it.
Yeah.
And then you have to think about, so he's killing these low-level criminals that are probably just doing it because they're being hired to do it. They're getting paid to do it or manipulated to do it. And then you let a mastermind, sadistic psychopath like Joker loose. How does that and the main villain in Batman v Superman, Lex Luthor, who creates a literal monster, you let him go, and he's... And
you don't even brand him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree with you. Honestly, I wouldn't mind it because, again, he's playing the older Batman who's been through the ringer, essentially.
Okay.
And he even tells... Alfred's kind of his moral conscience, and he's trying to tell him, they're still good and everything, but Batman even replies like there's no good guys left. So this is clearly a very different Batman. But I will say this: you are right. Like, you made me change my mind when you made me realize, yeah, he kills like all these people, but he lets Joker or Lex Luthor, all these like main villains live. So it's like, look, pick one. He either kills his villains or he lets them all live because of his rules. So I do agree that I don't like that it's kind of back and forth.
It's inconsistent.
Yeah, it is.
Be consistent, Batman. That's your main thing. That's what people like about you. You're consistent. Right. You have a rule that you abide by that nobody else abides by. Well, I'm not going to say nobody else, because a lot of people in the DC universe, a lot of the superheroes in the DC universe do abide by that same rule. But, that distinguishes you from a lot of other things. Now, people are going to also say that Avengers, they were indirect causes of people. But they were indirect causes. Yeah, they were indirect causes of most people that died. Whereas it feels like Batman went out of his way in a lot of instances to murder people.
The car dragging and throwing it in the air to land on another car was like so overtly like murderous.
Right.
But this is something this isn't new. Man of Steel got a lot of crap for Superman snapping Zod's neck, and they were like, Superman never kills, or at least directly, blah blah blah. So it looks like Snyder's like, I don't give a shit about any of that.
Yeah,
my heroes are gonna be murdered.
Exactly, we're gonna have your favorite iconic heroes kill people all the time.
Exactly.
It's almost nothing to them. Maybe that's why Superman doesn't feel anything for all those casualties.
I guess not.
There's a lot of there's also one other main gripe that I have.
Okay.
And which is sad to say, the great actress that Amy Adams is in this movie, she's just given this damsel in distress role, which I can't stand. She literally gets in near-death experiences, and Superman has to save her 3 times in one movie, which has to be a fucking record.
Right.
So...
But on the other hand...
Let's give it on the other hand. Let's do that.
What did you... Like, for example, when Lex Luthor throws her off the building, what did you expect for her to do? I mean...
Die.
Just die? Like, you would rather her just have her splash?
And then then Superman becomes a crazy psychopath. He high-fives Lex Luthor. No, he doesn't high-five Lex Luthor.
I mean, I agree, but... Like, yeah, I do agree that it's a record. Like, this whole
Like,
movie...
he could have used so many other... I don't know. I feel like... The fact that she was in trouble so many times in this movie is makes her such a weak character, and she's such a strong character.
Right. Yeah.
Lois Lane herself is a strong character. Yes, she gets kidnapped because people know about the relationship between Lois Lane and Superman, so she gets kidnapped but 3 times in one movie where her life is in peril. It's just I feel like
at least the
much.
first 2 times it served the plot. The third one with her underwater. Yeah, you're right. Like, that was like completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it didn't really have to.
But she did serve a vital role with the spear at the end, because she did. Not just. I'm sorry, not just the spear, but Batman was about to kill Superman. Like, he was 1 second away. She didn't pop up.
Right.
To tell him.
Well, he was about to kill Superman for no reason too.
No reason.
No reason. Well, because
He thought it was a threat.
yeah, but the
By the
reason
way, really quick, sorry. This is so obvious, but I didn't make this connection. But they both have a mom
named
named
Martha.
Martha.
Yeah.
I didn't. Why did I never
I didn't
realize?
either. I was like, even I'm sorry to say, even as a comic book fan, both of us huge comic book fans. Me particularly, a Batman fan.
Yeah.
When they said that, I was like, oh right.
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
I either forgot or like
It just
didn't put those
connect.
two things
Yeah,
together.
Exactly. It's like I never just thought Martha Wayne, Martha Kent. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which it actually kind of served the plot.
Yeah, it did that one instance where their moms have the same name, so they high fived about it.
It saved Superman's life.
It saved
damn
Superman's life. That's true. Like I would say that it's for no reason because like that, like I said, that one sentence where they could have talked, like had that one sentence they could have talked it out, it would have been fine. And the fact that he now doesn't think he's a threat at all, because what their moms have the same name.
Well, maybe.
Do you
'cause
see
he
what I'm
made the
saying?
sacrifice. Well, I think it's more because he made that sacrifice. So let's really quickly talk about that because I agree with what you're saying though. The whole sequence to get them to fight was stupid. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It was really weak writing, but it's Zack
It
Snyder.
makes Superman look stupid. It makes Batman also look really stupid.
And look violent. Like he looked like a bully. Like no matter what, Superman's like, look, let me talk to you.
Right.
And then Batman's like, nope, not having. I want to kill you. So it did make him. It made the world's greatest detective look stupid.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the ending. So you mentioned that there's a lot of elements from different comics. Death of Superman.
Death of Superman's in
Right.
it. We didn't want to say this in spoilers, obviously, because that's a huge plot point.
Spoilers.
Yeah, and it's a huge spoiler as well. So we got Death of Superman, we have the Injustice comic book, and we also have Batman Returns, obviously, with the fight that they have in the movie.
Right.
As opposed to the Justice, I'm sorry, as opposed to the fight that they have in the comic book, which is very justified, because they have the government.
Right. It's different. Yeah. The
Yeah.
motivations were what. Yeah. Look, an animated movie was better than this in terms of that specific idea.
That's why they
of
should have
Batman.
left that out. They should have left that. I feel like they should have saved that because they wanted to draw in this crowd that was getting siphoned to the event, Civil War and the Avengers crowd. They had to try to draw them in, so this is what they thought that would be the best thing to do.
Right.
Which they were wrong. I'm
Right.
sad to say, even though I love to see that fight, and I will watch that fight again and again and again because it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I just would rather have watched it without the context.
Right. I agree.
Sad to say. Alright, let's talk about some other stuff here. We talked about the weakest points of the movie. And we talked about terrible Jesse Eisenberg and his portrayals.
Yeah.
Were
There's really
there,
nothing
were
more
there,
we can say about that.
yeah, were there any? Let's talk about Wonder Woman a little bit too.
Okay.
Spoilers wise, she, being Gal Gadot's, I think this is her debut. Is it
No,
her-
she's been in other movies.
She's in other movies.
She's in
Okay.
the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, she was. Yes, you're right. Yeah, but in this one, she feels very strong. She held her own.
I
She
agree.
wasn't annoying. She's probably like the least. Her motivations for doing everything was probably the least logical. I mean, I'm sorry, the most logical. So that's,
Right, yeah.
But-
Yeah, because you even said you don't expect her to lead the city. Because I was thinking she shouldn't have even been at the final fight, but you do make a good point. Like, what, she wasn't going to walk away
Right.
seeing that, like, giant monster, like, try to destroy the planet. So, yeah, I agree with you. I thought she did really well. I do like that they kept her at a minimum because I'd like a proper introduction to her, but I heard they're making a movie, an
Yeah.
origin story, so we'll get a proper introduction. Speaking of,
Yeah.
there's a picture in the movie that's kind of like not a big plot point, but a minor one. I bet you that exact
it's a side. It's
picture.
another side plot point to what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
But I bet you that exact picture will be taken in her origin movie. And then we'll see
We'll
that.
be looking for it.
Right, exactly. So
Fans would be upset if they didn't have a scene where they all took a picture.
Yeah, where they took
even
that.
though they could have made that leap on them by themselves without seeing that happen. I'm
No, I
sure they're
wanna
gonna put.
see it happen,
I do
damn
want
it.
to see it happen too. I'm not gonna lie. And it does. It gives a little bit of taste of what's to come in the Wonder Woman movie, which is nicely done as well.
And there are some Easter eggs and cameos that let's not say that I want people surprised, because I got to be surprised of characters that I was like, wait, that person's dead, or that person's gone, or I didn't realize they're going to introduce that popped up throughout the movie. So you'll get at least a lot of good little surprises, I think.
I think this movie as a whole, it's not bad. There are scenes that I disliked thoroughly,
Right.
And there are the scene, and those are all scenes with Jesse Eisenberg. Unfortunately, every scene that he was in
It was bad.
was
It
so
was bad.
terrible,
It was.
and I really wanted to like him. There was this talk about how his portrayals is the one of the worst when it comes to Lex Luthor's, and I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I was wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I was wrong to hope. That's basically what it was. Batman was great. Superman was great. By the everything wrong with this movie had everything to do with the writing
Right.
and not the actors themselves.
Oh yeah.
Except
no,
for Jesse Eisenberg. Except for
Jesse
Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg,
How
yeah.
did what did you? We didn't even talk about this in non spoilers, but what did you think of Alfred?
He was good.
Played by
Jeremy
Irons. Yeah,
And I read that he's
I think he's one of the best.
yeah, of course
He because you see him actually do things for Batman besides get him
Serving
tea
him.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see him.
well, this I heard that this depiction of Alfred is more in line with there's a comic I think where you find out he actually was like in the military, like
Yes.
some kind of secret services or something. So it actually shows
Him working on the vehicle,
Right.
Him working on the armor that
Yeah.
Batman has and uses.
And
He
he
plays a
helps him
very
track.
yeah. You can tell that he plays a huge role in how It's not all Batman creating all these gadgets and things. Jeremy Irons' Alfred plays a huge role in it as well.
right.
Yeah,
I think he did great.
yeah. It's good that we have an Alfred that's more active instead of a more like background role where he's like, you know.
Yeah, he was really his moral conscious. I like that a lot about him. I really hope he'll have a little bit of a bigger
And he's
role.
younger than the other Alfreds.
That's true.
So
yeah.
that gives him more room to be more active. The
Right.
other Alfreds, fuck, I can't, from the Batman. Dark
Michael
Knight,
Caine?
Michael Caine. He's great. Super British. Charming British old guy, but he was, like I said, an old guy.
Right,
He
right.
was also sort of like a moral compass to Christian Bale, Batman as well, but in the sense that that's what he did. He didn't work on a lot of things for him. He certainly didn't help him build anything. That was all Lucius Fox.
Right, right. I'm just gonna pretend Lucius Fox was in the building,
Yeah, there you go.
so I care. But yeah, I liked his depiction. I hope he has a bigger role in the like Batman Part One origin film or whatever it's gonna be, the solo film. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, all the acting minus Eisenberg was decent. It was like decent to really good.
Mhm.
I thought Ben Affleck was a good surprise. Don't expect Christian Bale's Batman, but he's not.
I like the
playing-
voice modulator as well.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, everything about his suit and the Batmobile, the Batwing, all of it was really cool.
Not only him as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne
As Bruce
as well.
Wayne, yeah.
He kills it because you're supposed to be. And he was very charming, and you see that he does have a life as Bruce Wayne because there's a scene where he wakes up next to a woman.
Yeah, yeah, he does.
Unless that was Jeremy Irons in a wig, I'm not really sure. He doesn't show her face.
Let's not even go there. But
Let's
it's
go there.
possible. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, you're right. The other movies do make it seem like he hates his Bruce Wayne persona,
Yeah.
so he doesn't really like do any of that stuff. But yeah, I thought all of that was good. It's just the story was too. Again, I'm going to use it again. Bloated, jumbled, a little all over the place, a little desperate to be the first Avengers movie. But overall, honestly, I thought it was good. Now, you said you liked the fighting. Did any of the music stick out to you that you thought was good, soundtrack wise? The only time it stuck
No,
out
not
for me was
really.
the
It
introduction
didn't
of
hinder.
Wonder Woman.
Like, here's the thing about soundtracks. If it doesn't hinder the music and I don't notice it, then it did its job. But
Oh,
if
yeah,
it
yeah.
or if it's really great, then I'll notice it. Then that's another thing. Then it exceeded its job.
Right.
So there's that. But there's an instance where the music is bad and you definitely notice it,
It's distracting.
and that's when it's distracting. And I'll talk about it. But other than that, it's fine. It was serviceable. I didn't notice it or not notice it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Overall, I mean, I thought it was.
I mean, Zack Snyder has been known to have really odd choices in adding his music into.
he had XL Junkie be one of the people that did the music. I noticed that immediately when I saw that name pop up in the credits. I was like, holy shit!
What the fuck
Like,
is Excellent Junkie?
they do pretty good music. Just
Extra large Kraken.
something like that. But I
I'll have
don't.
to look it up.
Yeah, just look it up. But overall, I mean, I like the fighting. I liked. I know people didn't really like the darker tones
Okay.
to it of the
Yeah.
camera, but I liked it. Look,
One
I
more.
gotta be honest. It
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
my,
you
my
gave it a pretty
expectations.
decent rating. I gave it an above average rating. I mean,
Yeah, you did.
I want to watch it again, but I will watch it again knowing that there's going to be stupid plot points in it and dumb characters, and everybody in Metropolis is an idiot.
Right.
Like literally, they there's a scene where
I heard what
they're
you're gonna say.
they're standing around talking about the destruction around their city, and nobody's going to a safe bunker area.
No.
They're just looking out their window, their glass windows, at what is going on around them. People, like a monster is being birthed.
Right.
Buildings are being destroyed, and people are falling into those buildings. It's just like the people in Metropolis. No wonder people keep staying in Metropolis instead of moving out to somewhere else to live out their lives in peace in non-destructive manners. They're idiots. So that's also going to take you out a little bit.
Right.
There's a lot of things, illogical things that people do in this movie that will take you out of the movie. I enjoyed it for Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and his
Yeah.
portrayal of Batman, be it very brutal and different from what we're used to. I like Henry Cavill still. He was very serviceable in the first one. His chest hair still popping out of his suit. I like Amy Adams.
Oh, that's sweet of her.
I like Amy Adams as an actor. Didn't enjoy her as Lois Lane because she was basically a damsel in distress the whole fucking time,
Yeah.
and to a degree that was unrealistic in my opinion, where she would get captured and into this and put in peril so many times. Hate Jesse Eisenberg for this.
I'll never see. it.
Jeremy Irons, can't wait to see him again,
Yeah.
and everybody else was okay.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, Gal Gadot was amazing as well. Yeah, we talked about her a lot.
Everyone was pretty good.
Yeah.
But
So still, I'm gonna stick with my rating, even though after our discussion, you did make some good points. So yeah, about the whole Man of Steel thing, I agree with you.
just
I
give
don't agree
Superman
with
a
you.
break.
It
If
gives-
I
yeah, it
punch you
gives-
through the window.
I'll give him a little. I'll let him lax a little bit because of that. Because you brought that up, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm still sticking to my rating though. What's 6.5?
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. So it's pretty good.
Cool. Thanks for sticking around for spoiler, guys. I really appreciate it. Please, if you have any suggestions, let us know. If you have any questions or anything, leave a comment or email us at wecanrant@gmail.com.
Yep.
I've been Kevin,
And this is Andrew.
signing off. See you, pretty peoples.
Peace.